Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome back to the next part of my Final Fantasy XIV Let's Play series. Now I have some good news, and I have some news that is, well, not even bad news, it's just different news. So my character is level 50 now, which, I said when I hit level 50, we were going to go over all the things you need to do at level 50 to start raising your item level, to start ensuring that your character can maintain a steady income, to make sure, just all the things that you can do to help your character now that they're level 50. However, the first thing that I recommend you doing is finishing the main story, and that is something we haven't done on this character yet, and you'll see why I recommend doing that soon enough. Though there are some features that you can go out of your way to unlock before finishing the main story. You can get your Grand Company to max rank. That is a big one. I've already gone ahead and done that on this character. You noticed last video when I did Aurum Vale, I just came back with 9,000 Grand Company seals and, finished that off. Nothing too fancy to that. You can also unlock some of the PvP features. You would have been already able to unlock the Wolf's Den with the level 30 version. If you come over to this NPC, or there should be an NPC at each respective Grand Company, you can also unlock Frontlines, which is a large-scale PvP mode. And you can also unlock the Hunt, which I mentioned in my early videos. All that unlocks is this hunt board over here where you can take daily and weekly marks. As you can see, they're worth gil and allied seals, and with those allied seals, you can talk to the hunt bill master, and you're able to buy these items. I wouldn't recommend trying to buy them for upgrade purposes. Most of these items are for vanity purposes. The only things that most people tend to buy is maybe these, like the weathered gear. This is a soldiery equivalent gear. It's very common for people to go out of their way to buy that. Some people go the full 9 yards and they try to save up for things like the Alexandrite for the relic, or unstained mark logs. 4 of these is a carbon coat and 6 of them is a carbon twine, and those are used to upgrade item level 120 gear to item level 130, so those are very common as well. Something that you probably want to consider, but honestly, if you're not going out of your way to do, if you're not going out of your way really to go out and actively camp the A and S rank hunts, these are going to take you a pretty long time to get. Most of the time, I'll recommend getting the soldiery gear. It's usually pretty easy to obtain a piece every couple of days, and I'm going to be showing you how to get some good upgrades with the soldiery gear outside of that as well. There's also a bunch of vanity stuff that you can do here and whatnot. Also, I have 350k. One thing I went ahead and did is I sold a bunch of items, mostly Allegan pieces, gold pieces and silver pieces, things that you can just go to the vendors over here and sell. I actually recorded this opening to this video already once before, and let me see if it shows in the buyback. It does not. This list will be cleared upon changing areas, which I did because I zoned. So I had some issues with my controller. It's just, remember how like 3-4 times in a video it goes where it's like, oh, it went unplugged and it stopped working. It's been happening more and more frequently, which means I may actually switch to playing with the mouse and keyboard if this remains inconsistent. It's just annoying for recording videos when the controller is plugged into the USB port. It's perfectly fine. I have it sitting on my lap, and then it just starts going like, I don't want to work. If I had an Xbox controller, it would probably be fine. I should maybe install the drivers for the PlayStation 4, but it seems to be an issue with it plugging into the USB, and every USB port I've ever tried plugging my PlayStation 4 controller into, this has been a problem. Could be faulty PlayStation 4 controller. Whatever the issue, it's why I prefer mouse and keyboard. Never happens with my mouse and keyboard. So selling off some of the items you're not going to use for crafting is another thing that you can do pretty early on. I've already spoken about the tier 1 materials and how you can choose to save them for your relic later, or you can sell them for minor profits just from spirit bonding the gear that you use leveling up, assuming that is you don't actually need it anymore. So I have a pretty healthy 350k at level 50, and that includes I was teleporting around quite a lot. So I think it's a pretty sizable amount, and you're going to actually see me spending it, which is a big thing that I know I spoke about early on, like kind of being dangerous. You'll see me spending it to buff my item level a little bit to make some of the content easier. But first and foremost, I did say the first thing I recommended you doing was finishing the main story, and we haven't done that. So the next thing we have to do in the main story is Cape Westwind. This is a quick fight. This is an 8-man fight against one enemy, kind of like a primal fight, except that it's probably only going to take you about a minute to a minute and a half to beat. Now, when I was first trying to record this before, the queue time was quite long. Yeah, 27 minutes was about what I was expecting it to say. So I probably should have queued up for this as I was explaining the hunt, as I was explaining the Grand Company seals and all that stuff, because now I'm going to have to take a pretty long break before I come back and do this. Normally the queue time for this isn't nearly as long, but I am recording this, not early in the morning, but it is you know, it is a Monday morning, people going to work, school, you know, college, whatever. It makes it kind of, you know, difficult to find a lot of people around at this time. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to see if I can wait it out, and I will come back as soon as my queue pops. See you then. All right, that was close. I had my headset on, and I heard Cape Westwind pop. I ran all the way across my house in like 5 seconds to sit down to do this. Okay. Anyway, this is Cape Westwind. I waited about 15 minutes for it, so please let everybody press yes. Please. Please, DPS, stop playing triple triad and press yes. Alright. Whew. Yeah, I ran down the stairs to try and get my coffee. You know, I set up a percolator for my coffee. And then I have my headset on, and I hear the duty pop noise, and I'm like, oh, gotta go. Just ran on all fours up the stairs. Like, I didn't even run. It was, yeah. Alright. Time to get carried into this fight. Carry me, senpai. No, but for real, like, everybody's, everybody's just level 50. Well, okay, so we have 3 people being carried here. And, yeah. So this fight is so easy that having a few level 50s with some above average gear is going to make it pretty much a joke. So prepare to see the biggest joke of a fight that there ever was. I literally just got told to just stay in cleric stance. Well, I didn't even get tell. I didn't even get telled, really. Shows where my mind is right now. I got told, or I got asked if I just wanted to stay in cleric stance, because look at my gear and look. So look, if you want to know how much more geared that other healer is than me, look at my health and look at their health. Now, health isn't always a solid, you know, way of telling. Sometimes people have Vit gear on for whatever reason. I'm gonna assume that White Mage doesn't have any Vit gear on, and that's just what his health is. So yeah, my healing is pretty much irrelevant here. I trust them to do everything on their own. I'll just add a little bit of extra DPS in this fight. Yeah, I had a feeling they weren't going to wait for Protect either, so whatever. Just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It ultimately just doesn't matter at all. So this is Cape Westwind. I changed my binds around a little bit. Oh, my controller. My controller did the whole thing where it dies again. Alright, I think I know what causes that. So, alright, so I'm just going to go full DPS. So this boss does, I guess he technically has mechanics. He has like he has a hard-hitting tank ability. You know, he just did it right there. He's gonna summon some adds that you're supposed to tank up and kill because they do damage. He just did a giant cone attack right there. There's the 2 adds that are spawning. They spawn, if you're curious, over by the entrance, which is, you know, right where we started. Here they come. We're just gonna ignore those. And the only other attack he has, I think, is he's going to do a giant AoE around him. He's going to have a targeted attack where he shoots a firebomb. There it is. You just move out of the firebomb and you're okay. And his final attack is a giant AoE around him. You see him shooting missiles into the air. When he does that attack, it means that immediately after, he's going to follow up with this AoE right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Oh, yeah, is readying Magitech missiles. There you go. Now he's doing it. And then it immediately comes down and wrecks everyone in the face. If you're a new player, it probably would have one-shot me there if I got hit by it or come pretty close to it. But you can see, this is probably what your experience will go like. I got the card. Card, LOL. Add it to the other 6,000 from... Add it to the other 60,000 from Imperial. So I got the Ratansas Arvinus card, which was the name of that boss. It's a very common card from the NPC that you can beat to get it. So I'm not even happy that I got it, to be honest. It's nothing special to get the Ratansas Arvina card. It's just, it's a really, really easy fight. It's a really, really easy card to get. And everybody left, so I'm just going to give him the commendation and be on my way. So that's it. Welcome to Cape Westwind. You did it. Yay, world first. Seriously, though, the odds of you getting a full group of people that are brand new to that fight are very low. Expect it to go like that, where you kind of just show up and that's all you do. I mean, that's it. It's that simple. Stayed in cleric states. And that's another thing. Also, expect that as soon as the circle breaks, that the level 50s in the group that have already been there and, you know, have some gear, they're just going to rush forward and zerg it down. You know, it's just common. The cutscene's not that long there, so don't feel bad if you watch it. You saw it wasn't as that long. Guy watched the whole cutscene. There is a cutscene after as well. There's a couple of cutscenes after it's done as well. But coming up in the next couple of dungeons that I'm going to be doing for the main story, those... I'm gonna talk about it when we get to the video, but the cutscenes for those dungeons, they cause a bit of drama because some people don't want to skip them, and some people, they don't care to wait for the people who don't want to skip them. I guess other than the first cutscene, like as soon as the first cutscene is over, expect the groups to just non-stop pull and kill bosses and not wait for you at all, unless you go out of your way to skip the cutscenes and watch them later. Honestly, it sucks because those are great cutscenes. The next 2 dungeons worth of cutscenes have some of the most Final Fantasy-esque feels of the entire storyline. And it's a great conclusion to the 2.0 storyline, one that I think everybody should experience, especially if you've been watching all the cutscenes up to this point. Just expect to kind of get left out of the action. Some groups are nice, and I appreciate those groups when they do wait for the new players. I personally don't care either way. I'm not gonna slow down if people are pulling fast, but if we're gonna wait for people to watch the cutscenes before we go, I'm okay with that as well. I remember when I first did it, the game was in early access, and I was on the last main story quest, and I loved it. It was great. That's why I would never say, hey, you need to skip the cutscene, because I love those cutscenes. To me, that just feels so wrong to want to do that, you know? Because I love those cutscenes. I want other people to experience those cutscenes, and yeah, you can watch them in the inn, but it's not the same, man. It's really not. It's absolutely not the same. Not even close to feeling the same. So, do whatever you will. Just don't expect people to wait up. I guess that's the whole point that I'm trying to make. People won't wait up for you. They will just do the whole dungeon without you while you watch all the cutscenes. They'll do all the bosses while you're watching the cutscenes. All the bosses are pretty much almost as quick as what you just saw right there. So, yeah. That's all I'm really going to say. Luckily, though, we are coming to the conclusion of the 2.0 storyline, which is good because after this is really where the game begins. You know, you've had this whole leveling process. Hopefully you've been taking the time to learn how your job works, start setting up your hotbars, all the advice I've been giving you up until now, and up until we actually start doing the level 50 dungeons. And now is where you put it all to the test. Do you really understand how to heal and DPS at the same time? How confident are you in saving Gil and in your crafting and in your gathering? Do you want to level those? Are those going to be goals? Did you do the part where you level the subclasses and whatnot? All of that is going to matter. And it's going to really test you, and the more that you know, the more that you've learned from the series, the quicker you're going to be able to gear up. And especially in a couple of weeks, patch 2.55, the finale of A Realm Reborn, is happening soon, and then we have 3 months until the expansion. There's going to be a lot of changes that are going to be more new player friendly, especially towards the end of your item level trek. The highest item level right now being armor at item level 130 and weapons at item level 135. The final Coil of Bahamut, which is the final end game raid, which has a weekly lockout and everything, it's being put in the Duty Finder, and it's going to be given the Echo eventually, which I'll be talking about as well. It's also World of Darkness, which is a raid that's very popular. It's a 24-man raid. It's very easy to do in the Duty Finder. That is also going to have some of its limitations restricted, so new players can gear up more quickly from those. So some things that I may say or do in the coming videos, depending on how quickly these videos actually come out, may change when it comes to patch 2.55. We're assuming there's going to be more changes as well. Some people are predicting that the Relic weapon questline is going to be further nerfed. If it does, I may actually go through it again on this character, just for the sake of having easy access to a weapon and whatnot. You know, the usual. Just trying to finish up these main story quests to unlock the next dungeon before I decide to record that video. I actually have a live stream. You can see the local time on the top right. I have a live stream in 40 minutes about. So I'm not going to be able to record the next 2 dungeons today. After that, I actually have an interview at 4 p.m. An interview about the channel and about, you know, Final Fantasy XIV and whatnot. And then after that, I have to make dinner. And then I have something to do tonight. I can't remember what it is. I should probably try to remember what it is now before I find out at like 8 o'clock and be like, oh, whoops. All right, we got this guy done. We got one more to do. My controller's not acting up anymore. So I think a big reason that my controller acts up is the way it sits on my lap. I actually push the cord sort of... I push against the cord with my leg, because it literally just rests on my leg, and I'm one of those people that likes to hold my controller kind of forward when I play instead of just flat in my hand or tilted back. So I'm actually pushing the cord sort of down a little bit. It's not the only reason it happens, but I notice it happens the most when I do that. So I'm just going to try and hold the controller in a different way. Never mind, because I just moved the controller and now all of a sudden, you see me running in place like that? Yep. And the last USB device you connect to this computer malfunctioned, and Windows does not recognize it. I wonder how much longer I'm going to last using a controller. Because if this keeps happening, it's not going to be too long. Like, I've made it this far, but it seems like these controller issues are becoming more and more present. The more, like, I can't move around too much when I'm playing, and I am a very, very animated, I guess. I'm a very animated player where I like to move around a lot when I play. Especially, I'm Italian. I like to talk with my hands. So, yeah, that's not going to be easy. Right. Sorry, I had an Austin Powers moment. It's a Dr. Evil moment, actually, but... Alright, what else can I do here? Might as well get that. It's a gear upgrade. I'm not going to turn down a gear upgrade. Also, oh, there's another thing that I totally forgot to mention. So, don't forget to finish your hunting logs all the way up to level 50. I mentioned this in an earlier video that you could get a ring from finishing all your hunting logs for a class. This is the Master Conjurer's ring. It's item level 55. It's not a great ring, but it's an item level 55 ring. Don't turn that down. I'm going to show you in a future video where you want to go to unlock it. In order to actually pick up the items that you get from achievements, you have to talk to an NPC in Old Gridania. And when you do that, I have to psych them up. Psych them up. There we go. Psych them up. Yeah, that would never psych me up at all. I would be like, why are you thrusting in my general direction? Yeah, it's just an NPC in Old Gridania. It's up by Apkalu Springs, I think it's called, or Apkalu Falls. Don't remember if that's exactly what it's called. But it's a guy who, his name is Jonathas or something like that. And you just have to talk to the guy, share stories with him. That's what it's called. You share the story of your achievement. He gives you an item for sharing the story, and in this case, it's the Master Conjurer ring. On top of that, we have all the AF gear. The one thing I may invest in is a weapon. On my server, 350k will actually get me a really nice item level 70 weapon, which is good going into like the primals and whatnot. The only thing I'm worried about is that I'm technically doing the relic quest, and there's a weapon you need to buy for the relic quest as well, and that I think it's going to cost me about 30k. I don't want to spend like 60k on a weapon that I'm only going to use for the relic quest line and then never use it again. That's a big thing about saving money, is not making brash short-term decisions with your money. Really look at how that money is going to help you in the long run, and trust me, you'll be happy with it. So now we have a black pearl ring. We're getting all our gear up to the level 50-ish area. My item level is 48 currently. Part of that being because of my weapon, but that's besides the point. Alright, what do we need to do here? So there's just a couple of quests that you need to do right here before you get into the final 2 dungeons. Defeat some Imperial soldiers, you know, psych up some of the troops. We're basically getting ready for war here. That is what we're doing. You know, the final battle that we're approaching with the Imperials. Yeah, like, I need a new weapon. This I can get from the Grand Company, actually. I'm considering farming up some Grand Company seals to get a weapon. It's, I think, like 7,000 for an item level 55 weapon from them. And yeah, I know it's only item level 55. That's not that high, and it's also going to get replaced pretty quickly. But it's better than having a level 45 weapon. That's for damn sure. And also, I have to make sure to increase my item level for when I get to the hard mode primals. I think for Ifrit hard mode, you need a minimum item level of 60. So I really got to make sure that I have at least something in the works for that, you know? Also having a... Oh, is Gorgamera up? Or is there something else up? Why are you resetting the boss? I'm just reading a shout. Oh, no. The boss is over there. Okay. I was just making sure, because if Gorgamera was up, it's a fate in the area that's worth a lot of experience points, but it's also extremely difficult to do. It's actually kind of like the Eyes Have It, or the Eyes on Me, whatever it's called, the one in Corthus where you have to fight the giant Stereopes or whatever his name is. Yeah, it's kind of on that difficulty level. So a lot of people kind of just don't do it just because it's a high probability of death. It's going to take a very long time to do. And then the question arises, well, with all this time invested, is it even worth me doing it? You know? I also have a phone call that I need to make. So I want to kill these Magitech Vanguards ASAP. ASAParino. There we go. Just gotta lay down the law here on these Magitech Vanguards. I really notice so much of a difference between my main character and my alt. Because you have to remember, my main character has most jobs at 50. The only one I don't have at 50, actually, is Paladin. I think it's at... I know it's not 47 anymore. It might be 48 or 49. I don't like Paladin. So I don't want to level it. I mean, it's that simple. I don't like it, therefore I don't care if it's 50 or not. I probably should finish it and get it to 50. Just for the sake of saying that I did it. But my white mage has like an item level 110 or item level 100 weapon. You know, I have full item level 110 or higher gear. So playing this alt with the much weaker gear, I almost feel like I can do things that this character is completely not capable of. Like, oh, you know, like solo heal, the hard mode primals, which is something that's super easy to do. Of course, there are people who die because they take extra damage, and then you have to go out through the extra work. But it's something that's pretty easy to solo heal regardless. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that on this character. Maybe I will with the Echo. I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that no matter what happens when we go to Duty Finder, the hard mode prime, because I'm Duty Findering them. I'm not asking my free company that I haven't even, you know, put this character on yet. Not going to ask Death and Taxes, hey, anyone want to do Ifrit hard mode, Garuda hard mode, Titan hard mode? Hell no. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to DPS and heal at the same time. People are going to be like, yo, this healer only has 2,700 HP and he's already doing the stance dancing with cleric stance. I'm so impressed. And you know what? You're going to do that too. If you're a white mage, you're going to do it too. And you're going to make me proud, and you're going to make them proud, and you're going to get all the commendations. And everything's going to be good, great, and grand, and wonderful. None of this is going to happen, including the part where I said I'm going to be able to DPS. In all honesty, I probably could. But what's more likely going to happen is the better geared better geared healer is just going to DPS full time. Like, it doesn't matter that, you know, they're going to look at me and be like, he'll probably heal full time. And I'm just going to be like, no. Healers, I'm not just supposed to heal. I'm supposed to try and DPS between my heals. And then they're just going to be so impressed. I'm going to be the most impressive player, and that's who's supposed to get the commendations, right? I think this is it. I'm pretty sure that this quest right here is the one that unlocks Castrum Meridianum. Here we go. Come on. Tell me it's unlocked. Tell me it's unlocked, baby. Okay, well, after I accept this quest, tell me it's unlocked. Rock the Castrum. Is that like Rock the Casbah? I'm assuming it's like Rock the Casbah. And there we go. Use Duty Finder to enter Castrum Meridianum. So on that note, I'm going to end this video. In the next one, we're going to be doing Castrum Meridianum. And in the following one, the Praetorium. So I'll see you in those videos. Thank you for watching. And until next time, take care.